our next session, allow me to introduce you to Shivaani Rajkumar, who will be briefing us on experience gained by ITP. She's a Beta Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador, Associate Software Engineer at PSN Lanka, and the former Vice President of MS Club of SLIIT. Over to you, Shivaani.
Thank you, Jitni. I hope you all can see my screen. Hello, everyone. So I warmly welcome you all to ITP Guide 7.0. And today I would like to share my experiences gained from ITP Guide when we were doing 2021. Yeah, so before moving to the content, let me introduce about myself. I'm Shivaani Rajkumar, a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador and Associate Software Engineer at PSN Lanka. Okay, I divide that content into 5 points. So let me focus on the first point, which is group work. Okay, let's start with a normal example. So let's take a sport, a netball, and in the team, the leader should select who should be stand in the center and who should be in the shooting place and who should be the help shooter. So likewise, they should divide after asking the members what they want to be and after analyzing them, right? So as per the positions, the person also do their work on time properly until the end of the competition to win. So the same concept when it's come to this group work also. So suddenly you're facing like kind of a group of members of around 7 or 8 people. So you need to decide what project you are going to do and what are the features there and which person wants to do that particular feature. And that person should focus on that feature and continuously work, right? So they need to work on time. So when you're doing that project, some arguments can happen. Like one person can say, I want to do this way, and other person can say, I want to do that way. So mainly for the leader, the patience is very important. And after deciding the proper thing you are going to do, you need to work on time by allocating that story points and all. So you guys can explore what is Jira or Azure boards. So you can create some to-do plannings and do as per that. So for that, you need to have proper communication. So as SLIIT students, we have Teams platform or email or WhatsApp groups. So likewise, you need to have a call twice a week or once a week just to have a call. Even you don't have an update, you need to know about the flow, what others are doing, or what is the connection between my feature and my friend's feature. So likewise, you need to work as a group. Otherwise, it won't work. So the problems happened when we were doing also. So please maintain the communication with your team members. And the next thing is moving to new technologies. So far you guys have done projects using raw like HTML or CSS or Java. But here you guys are just moving to some new tech stacks, right? So you guys have heard that someone is telling like going with MERN stack. That is good for your project. That's easy to move. Or someone says go with Java Spring Boot. That framework is good. So about frameworks and GitHub, you can learn more about, and our club members also talk later. And so someone says like that. Someone had some experience, I think. And if don't think like that. If I going with MERN stack, that is easy home. Don't think like that. Just focus on your project. What kind of project you are taking and what are the entities. So for example, if we take a student and a course, so those are two entities and what are the relationships among them. So if it is a structured and very complicated relationship, better go with a MySQL and Spring Boot. Or it's a very simple project, better go with a MERN stack. Or if your application has a lot of AI related technologies, better go with Python. Likewise, analyze your project and search for tech stacks, and as per your um, need, you select the particular tech stack you want. When we were doing, more than 90% of students did MERN stack projects, but our group, we decided to go with something different like Spring Boot and Angular to make a difference. Because but we did not know anything about those technologies. We wanted to learn about them, and meanwhile we wanted to code. So what we have done, we learned continuously. So think if you are doing a hotel management system, you can go to YouTube and type hotel management system YouTube tutorial, right? So but is it useful? Like one person can do his own way, another video tutorial another person can do in his own way, but at the end you will not get your solution. I'm not telling like don't go to YouTube tutorials. We also did, but just get an idea how they are doing their project structures and how they are starting the project, how they are continuing their project. So those kind of basic knowledge you can get from there, and also go to the you can learn the via YouTube tutorials, which are basically telling about how to use the technology, the particular tech stack. And for example, if I get Java, you have learned about WOP concepts and inserted in your Java project, right? Likewise, learn about the stack and include them inside your project. So for that, you can go through the documentations. So you guys have heard or not, but that's not an issue. You guys search for documentation. So if you are going with React documentation, go through that. So there are so many examples and how can you configure, those things are there. And if you search for blog and for example, how to use Spring Boot, you can find a blog and read. Okay, so then try to apply them inside your project. Continuously learn and apply. And the next one is designing. So I'm not talking about the designing, the interfaces you create by coding. So you can go with React or Angular, whatever language you can, whatever framework you can create the design, but it should be proper, right? So think you are creating an application for kids, so it should be colorful and it should be very interactive, right? So if you are creating a application for some industry people, like a very big enterprise application, that should not be like the app which you created for kids, right? It should be very formal. And also think if the buttons are very small, can they interact? Or if they navigate to another page and they want to move to another page, there should be any options, right? Any arrow buttons or back buttons. Likewise, you need to think about the user experience very much. That's very important. And then if I come to some designing frameworks or libraries like React or Angular, you can use JavaScript, and mainly I recommend going with TypeScript. Most of the people are not interested in doing TypeScript because that's very little complicated when you do initially. But I recommend because since you guys are working as a group of people, a lot of members, it's easy to find any error in any code line when you use TypeScript. So likewise, you need to analyze the technologies. You need to analyze and what are useful. You need to identify what are useful technologies related to your project. And if I'm into version controlling, okay. So these are some new words for you all because you guys don't know much about frameworks or version controlling. Don't worry, you guys can go through the video tutorials of our past year, and also our members also guide you guys through that. And if I tell about version control, so if I get a small example, like you are using a phone and it has a version, right? So if it is a version is 10 and they are launching a version is 11, so what can happen is in the version 11 they may have some features of version 10 and some additional features or some detection of version 10. Likewise, they need to maintain a version, right? So that's a small example, but think you are now going to create a project, then that have a version. You need to control that project, right? Right. Let's take this example. So you guys are two members in your group. Think there are two members in your group, and you are creating a project and putting into OneDrive. You can, however, that's also difficult, but however you can manage. But here you're having 8 members, right? 8 or 7 members. Can you create a OneDrive and inside that folder, creating 8 folders for each person and creating a common folder and putting all that 8 persons into that common every week or twice a week? Is that right? Is that right? Or is that easy? So hard work is important, but smart work is very important than hard working. So think version control. there are systems like JIT. There are tools like GitHub, GitLab, and there you can log in via Gmail or IT email and creating a project like creating a repository. There is a common folder, that means a common branch development, and dividing several branches. This may confuse you guys, what I'm talking about branches and all. That's very easy. And if you're creating 8 branches and merging your code inside the development, that common folder means the branch, then you can manage. So after 1 month also, after like think your the date is like 10th of January, and when 10th of February you need to get the code of 10th of January, you can easily get, like if you're maintaining in OneDrive or Google Drive, you can't do that. So if you want to revert your code, you can use that. So learn them. Why I'm mentioning this very much is when we were doing our project, most of the people did not use version controlling systems, and they were struggling when they came to third year, because this is one project for you all and lots of members, and one like for one project only you are going to use this version control. But when it comes to third year, many projects, for every project you are going to use JIT, but you will face many difficulties, right? So this is difficult. So think you are using a new user for the Facebook, you will face some difficulties initially in initial stage. So after some time you will be familiar with that, right? So likewise, when you use Git also, you will definitely face some difficulties, but don't think about that. Start that. Otherwise you will face many difficulties than you're facing now. Later, that means in third year or when you're going to internship, you will face many difficulties, because this is a 8 members of project. So when you're going to industry, there are more than 8, right? Maybe 20, maybe 50. How you're going to manage without knowing this? So just start today. So you need to manage that. Learn about that, how to manage. That's very easy for use. And if I go to the next point, creating an industry level project is, don't think like, okay, we have done several college projects, so we can do an industry level project easily. Don't think like that, because you can do so many college projects. You can hard code the values and just show inside in the front end. You can do so many things, but industrial project is not like that. A proper database and proper coding and proper maintenance and proper hosting, everything should be proper. And you will face different people there. They are not your friends, they are new people, so their mindset is different. So you need to handle them as well. So so learn what are the industry level code practices and include them in your college projects. So when you are starting your internship, that in the initial stage it will be a little easier for you to move forward. Otherwise that will be difficult. And also, when we were doing our project, that was a COVID pandemic time, and we were unable to find a customer. But you guys now have freedom to find a customer. If you're possible to, is it if it's possible to find a customer, do that. Don't focus on the money or other things. Just know how to handle a customer. Alone, the coding is not important. Learn business, learn marketing. Everything is important. You will feel that when you end your university, it's very important to handle customers. So learn about that. Learn about the how the industry projects are going on. What are the different tech stacks they are using? What are the standard practices they are using? Learn them and try to include in the project. Okay, the last point is, this is not the end. This is a huge project with 8 members, I know. With proper time management, you can reduce your depression, but you will get more sleepless night, or you need to break your sleeping time, or need to wake up in the early morning. Those things can happen because you're moving to new technology. So there may be different kind of errors. You need to meet the customer and you need to handle them as well. So there are some difficulties, but don't think as something depression. This is the initial step for your industry project, right? So there may be difficulties. Just take some relax and start again. Don't just think to drop it. Okay, so in your future, you will see so many projects in third year, fourth year, after that, or your master's. So you will see so many projects, but this is the initial stage. For everything, the starting is very important, right? So start happily, and you will get a great application if your teamwork is very good and tight. And I wish you all for your future endeavors. And thank you so much for listening to me patiently. This is my LinkedIn profile, and you guys can contact me if you guys need any support or like any advice related to tech stack and all. And writing a newsletter. You guys can find some blog articles related to the technology stacks. And yeah, that's all from my part. Thank you all.